Hello amigos, ¿cómo están? My name is Dan and welcome back to the channel. I'm going to make a video today on Chivas, mainly because I want to vent some stuff. Chivas are not in a good place right now, and I think there's several reasons for that. And there's some stuff I want to get off my chest, there's stuff I want to moan about, and you guys seem to like it when I moan, so I figured why not do it over a video and get it all out, and then I don't have to think about it too much more after that. So yeah, let's get straight into it. So yeah, as everyone knows by now, it's been widely reported Fernando Gago has left Chivas, has gone to Boca Juniors to be their new coach. That's finally official now. Yeah, it all came out just before the Clasico Tapatio, which is really pissed me off, to be honest with you. It was a terrible timing for that all to happen. And he came out at the press conference after that horrific loss, and he was kind of downplaying it and kind of avoiding questions. He didn't really come out and say one way or another, which annoyed me even more. I'm like, if you're gonna stay, just say it. If you're gonna go, just say it, get it done. He didn't, and to be cowardly about it. To be honest with you, I don't. Gago has not come out of this with any kind of positivity whatsoever from me, anyway. Yeah, so he's gone now. Obviously, he was announced a few days after the Tapatio game, and yeah, fair enough. If Boca Juniors, for him being Argentinian, that's a big club for him, obviously, and he's not going to turn that down. I don't have a dispute with that. I do have a dispute over the timing of it. Like, could they not really have waited until the end of the season or got to the Christmas at least? Halfway through the season with Chivas is just a bit diabolical, to be honest with you, disrespectful, even. And I never really understood Boca Juniors' interest in him either. Don't get me wrong, I think he's a decent coach, but he's very, very young, very, very inexperienced. He hasn't done anything managerially, really, for me to warrant going to Boca's and Boca's wanting to, get him. Maybe they didn't have many other options, although, you'd think that they should have done, but yeah, and we got us to the semi-final of the gear last season, but that's pretty much all he's done. He's had a pretty diabolical season so far this season. I never really understood why they were in for him. But it is what it is now. Like, what I wanted is just a resolvement of it, having it resolved, and it's done now, we can move on. But this time we don't have a hero there to kind of bring us a new coach in, so it'll be very interesting to see who's going to be the next full-time manager of Chivas. Obviously, the interim coach is Arturo Ortega, Tapatio coach, which I don't really mind. I think that's pretty an obvious move for the Chivas board to make, Maori to make even. He's done really well with Tapatio. Tapatio are flying. They're having a bit of a tough season this season, but they've got silverware, recent silverware as well. So I have no problem with him seeing out the rest of the season, go to Ligia hopefully, and go from there. He's got a massive game against Pachuca. His first game, first legit league game anyway. And yeah, it's going to be tough for him, obviously making a step up. But hopefully, because he's Tapatio, he can make some changes within the squad, which is what I'm going to be ranting about in a couple of minutes. Because I think the squad needs looking at, and there's some issues with the players, I think, that needs sorting out. But yeah, overall, I mean, Gago's gone now. Don't have to talk about him anymore. I don't, he's left a bit of a bad taste in my mouth. That didn't sound right, but it is what it is. He's annoyed me completely, to be honest with you. Leaving right now, in the middle of the season. It looks like Boca just made one phone call to him on a Tuesday, apparently, and he was like, yeah, okay, cool, bye. Bye, Chivas. And that was it. At least Paunovic kind of waited till the end of the season to leave. And at least then, I think Paunovic, did more with Chivas than Gago has. Obviously, Pano was here longer, but Pano at least got us to the final, which he should have won. Let's be real with that. And I think Gago got us to the semi-final based on Paunovic's work, based on the players that Paunovic had brought in, and the structure that we'd had, he brought in, and Gago, I think, rode the waves. I wouldn't be surprised if Gago completely flops at Boccas, and I'm not just saying that because I'm bitter. I also just don't think he's experienced enough. I think that, I think the Argentinian league is going to eat him alive, but whatever, I don't care. I'm not going to be following it, so I won't know what happens either way. Best of luck to Arturo Ortega. I think, yeah, it's a good move for him. Obviously, I think he's still in charge of Tapatio as well. Which should be interesting, but there's some positives with him in particular. He's very well connected to the Tapatio squad. There's a couple of players at Tapatio that should be brought in. So I'm going to go into the players now because I've had my little one at Gago. I put some of the blame on what's going on with Chivas right now on him, but there's some players in there that shouldn't be involved. For me, Pavel Perez. Also Gonzalez in midfield as well as Marin. Shouldn't be playing for Chivas anymore, and that's just to name a few. Obviously, Jesus Sanchez, Brizuela, they pretty much going to be confirmed to be retiring at the end of the season, actually, at Christmas. So they'll both be retiring, I believe. So um, yeah, those three players in particular shouldn't be playing for Chivas anymore, in my opinion. Marin's scored a couple of goals recently, cool, but he always does that. He pops up every once in a while, gets a decent goal, and dips out. He's not a striker that can propel Chivas into the Liga, even close to a title. We've got to rely on Marin now because Chicharito's out apparently, and Hormigo's out for God knows how long. No one seems to know what his injury is or what the extent of it is or how long he's going to be out for. There's no information that I can find about Hormiga at all. If you know anything, put it in the comments because I have absolutely no idea. I have looked, obviously, but yeah, we've got Marin and that's it. That brings him on to striker. We'll think, okay, Dan, well, if we don't have Marin, who should we bring? And my answer to the striker problem is the player from Tapatio, Teo and Wilker. I might probably not pronouncing that right. Let me know if I'm not. Let me know how to do it if it's not right. But he's killing it right now. For Tapatio, I think he's got 6 goals in 11 games this season, which is absolutely amazing form. I know it's Tapatio and it's the expansion league, but whatever. I think we should bring him in. He came off the bench to play against America. I think he should have started that game. To be honest with you, I think Ortega should have spent the America worthless, the pointless friendly game against America in the US. You should have spent that game to try and find alternatives to the players that are not good enough right now, and he should have played Wilcat instead of Marin just to see if he can compete with Marin in the last stages of the season. Like I said, he's killing it for Tapatio. Why not bring him in? We don't have any other strikers apart from Marin right now. Pocho at striker doesn't seem to be working. Why not bring him in? There's so many players in Tapatio right now, and the U23s that should be playing in the first team. So yeah, that's my issue with the striker position right now. Marin, for me, is just not good enough, and I think we should bring Teo and Wilker in to replace him and see what happens. Why not? It happened, with Hormiga. Brought Hormiga in. He was killing it in the youth system as well, and look what happened with him. So, that's my striker thing. My other issue is the goalkeeper. Obviously, Talavang Hell, absolutely phenomenal with Chivas right now. One of, if not the best Mexico goalkeeper in the league right now. On the offside with Rangel, I'm really pissed off that he keeps playing for Mexico in the B side of the Mexican national team. In the team that's the experimental side, obviously they played Valencia and they drew. They keep putting him in with all the experimental players for some reason. I would like to have seen him play the game against the US with an actual real defence in front of him. Carlos Rodriguez, blamed for the drawing of that Valencia game, fair enough. Tyler Hale's very much at the moment the junior goalkeeper in the national team, which is why he's playing these bum-ass games where he's just has no defence in front of him and he's just him. He's not a miracle worker. He needs some kind of defence in front of him. Would love to have seen him play against the US with an actual, arguably Mexico's best back four right now, give or take, and I say arguably because people could argue with that. Because I think he would have done much better in the USA game than he did in the Valencia game. But anyway, with Chivas, he's absolutely killing it. He's one of, if not our best player, consistently. Deserves way more clean sheets than he's getting. We're having such a wobble defensively right now. Chiquete hasn't come back to his full match fitness after being injured. Tiba goes through periods where he's really great, and then periods where he's not great, and he's not great at the moment. Mozo is obviously standard, and whoever we're playing a left back does quite well. Castillo at the moment, I think. Who do we have instead of Tyler Rangel as a backup, and that's Oscar Wally, and he got his chance in the America game in the US, and he didn't flatter to deceive. He made a real mistake in the first goal, I believe. And yeah, I mean, for me, I never really understood the Wally acquisition. We've got a couple of, I mean, if anything, if any position Chivas are strong in right now, it's goalkeepers. We brought Talleyrand Hill in from the youth system. I think we should go for Eduardo Garcia, who's killing it with Tapatio. He's won trophies with them. He's absolutely ready to be in the first team. Sorry, not national team, but the first team. Even Mexico's youth system as well is doing really well with them as well. For me, these two players, Teo Wilker and Eduardo Garcia, they're both good enough. They're both as good as Wally and Marion already. Wilker I think is like 22 or something. I think Garcia's 20 or 21. They're all like the early 20s. And they're already as good, in my opinion, as those two teams. So just get rid of those two players, older players, bring in some of the youth team players, bring them in, because we're losing so many good players from our youth system, only to then eventually buy them back. We should just integrate them. Hopefully Ortega's gonna do that. Hopefully he implements some of these younger players. Obviously Pollo Briseño, I love Briseño, I do, but I just don't think he's good enough anymore. Tiba and Chiquete, even though they're not having a great time right now, they are our best centre backs, and they're by far. And if either of those two are out, it's a notable step down. And Pollo's just not it. And why not bring in Diego Ochoa from Tapatio as well? I mean, he's only 19. He's one of the best players in Tapatio. He's killing it with Mexican youth system as well. Bring him in. Why not bring him minutes? He doesn't have to be starting games like Hormiga wasn't starting when we had Chicharito playing. But let him come in. Let him be involved in the first team squad. Let him get minutes here and there. If Tiba or Chiquete are not having a good game, bring Ochoa in. He's doing really well. We can't possibly be doing any better. And I think he fully deserves the national first team. I keep saying national team, but first team call up. Bugs me. It really bugs me because you've got so many of these good players in the youth system, Tapatio, under 23s, and they're not being utilised. It's really annoying. And yeah, Gael. Why not bring Gael Padilla in? Why are we playing Carlos Cisneros for? No disrespect to him. He's just not good enough. He's a good player. I like him. He's a decent guy. But he's not good enough. We've got so many players now that we're playing that game in, game out, they're just not good enough. Cisneros, Marion, also Briseño, Wally, they're all not good enough. They're not good enough, and we need to move them on. We need to clear them out in January or December. Clear them out, let them go to lower level clubs where they're going to get minutes and they keep getting paid and they have a really good time. If Kate Cow's out, why are we not bringing Padilla in? Padilla should be the Kate Cow replacement. Obviously Piojo is doing really well. He's our best player, outfield player right now. Bring him in. Bring Padilla in. He's killed it with Paunovic. He had a really good season. He got a red card one time and it disappeared. I'm not quite sure whether it's like training or whatever, but it bugs me. It really, 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 really bugs me. And I don't know if you can tell, but it does. Because it's just it's so obvious, so clear. I was calling for Hormiga way back before he started getting first team minutes. Because he was killing it for the youth system. If we can't buy these players, we can't buy top players, we can't spend big money, which Amari apparently doesn't want to do, then utilise, if you've got a kick-ass youth system, which is what we have right now. I mean, their trophies over the last couple of years alone spell that out completely. I think every single age category of the youth system has won their league in the last couple of years. It's absolutely disgustingly crazy. These players can't be doing any more than they are. And, if we can't go out and buy a massive player, an expensive player, then utilise your really good youth system. You can do either or. If you can't do one, do the other. Bugs me. So hopefully, like I said, mass clear out. Get rid of some of these players that, for me, we're keeping some of them on sentimentality alone. Jesus Sanchez is going to go. He's retiring, like I said. Brizuela as well. Absolutely massive service to the club. I love them completely. I would love to have seen them play for another season or so as backup. They're both blatantly backup players. Brizuela's getting way more minutes than he should be, in my opinion. We're relying on him a little bit too much. When we've got Padilla in the squad, it bugs me, but it is what it is. I love Conde Brazuela. He's one of my best players. He gave me a thumbs up when I was at the Aquan, so I'll always have love in my heart for him. But they're retiring and they're choosing to go out on their own terms, and have no problem with them. But the other players that I listed, they're just not good enough. I don't understand the Gouveia move. He's not really starting games. He's done all right. He hasn't lit the world on fire. Same with Guti. Guti took a long time before he became one of our most important players. So I'm giving Gouveia a little bit more time and more chance. But yeah, Marin, Wally, also Cisneros. They all need to be moved on. And we have to start being brutal about it as well, because some of them are on decent wages. And bring some of the kids in. Like, it's just blatantly obvious. But things are not going right now. We've had a couple of, we annihilate Juarez, but apart from that, we've been getting spanked left, right, and centre. And that pointless game against America and the US was like, really? Like, we should have subject ourselves. We played their, C team. They played their kids, and they dominated us, to be honest with you. So the only reason why I'm not absolutely hating on that game, because that should have shown Ortega, okay, Wally's definitely not good enough. Marin, he comes up with a goal every once in a while, but he's not good enough to be a starting striker for Chivas. Also, not good enough. Pollo Briseño, not good enough to be starting games. So hopefully he's learned a lot from that game, and if he has, then I won't regret having that game existing, because if you're going to lose a friendly, if you're going to play a friendly, if you're going to lose a friendly, learn from it, learn from the mistakes, learn from the players, and go into the actual league with those mistakes in mind. I don't want to see any of those players starting, to be honest with you, in the game against Pachuca. Why not start, if you're not going to start Chiquete or Tiba, start Ochoa, or put Ochoa on the bench and have him come on. Start Teo Wilker, why not? Why not start Padilla if K-Cal's not back by then? It is what it is. I mean, at the moment, it's just blatant, easy fixes. I'm not saying any of these youth players are going to come into the first team and just kill it, and we're going to start winning again because we're playing Teo Wilker. But Teo Wilker can't be any worse than Marin. Eduardo Garcia in the senior team for Chivas cannot be any worse than Oscar Wally. And the beautiful thing about it is that all those three, Ochoa, Teo Milka, and Eduardo Garcia, if they're all on the bench against Pachuca, say two of them get, say, 10, 15, 20 minutes, then that's cool. They can all still go and play in the Tapatio game, scheduling aside. I don't really know what the Tapatio fixtures are right now off the top of my head, but they can still play a full game of Tapatio and play 15, 20 minutes for Chivas. Like, I don't understand. I mean, having said that, it's away, so maybe travelling might be a bit of a concern. But you know what I mean? Like, even it doesn't necessarily matter if they're not getting massive amount of minutes. At least at the start, because they can still play Tapatio games. But it is what it is. I don't know apart from that, I don't know what the solution is. Amari, people hate Amari. For me, apart from not spending money on stupid money on players, I don't know what else he can do. He loves the club. I know he loves the club. He's goes to Tapatio games and all that stuff. I think anyway. I don't think he doesn't love the club, and I think he's obviously got mad sentimentality towards it because of his dad, and what his dad means to the club. But people seem to think that because he's not spending money, that he's failing the club. I don't think that. I think the onus is on him now to find or to get there's some kind of council that's replaced Hierro. He needs to lean on them a little bit and get them to select a real top coach to take over from Gago. If Ortega gets us to the Liga, and if he gets us to the semi-final, then he's as good as Gago. And for me, that means that he's deserving of being the full-time first team coach for Chivas. I mean, if he does that, then fair enough. Because if Gago can get us to the semi-final, and if he can do that as well, if Ortega can do that as well, then why not have him as take over from Gago? But yeah, if we don't get to Ligia or if we get out in the first couple of rounds, then I deserve. I think Amari needs to lean on the team and on his team a little bit and get us a good replacement for Gago because Gago just wasn't it. He just always seemed like he was out of his depth, and I think that's why I think Bocas is gonna eat him alive. I don't think he's gonna last long there at all, but. They got better players, better players, I guess. So um, maybe they'll keep him in the job longer. But anyway, that's my little one. It's basically play some of the youth players, and adios Gago, like whatever. Take it easy, have fun, um, and yeah, if we can get a good win against Pachuca, if we can get our season back on track. And try and get higher up the table, then fair enough. But if we lose against Pachuca, then we're in a real crisis, and we could be looking at not getting in Ligia. So massive game. Pachuca are no joke. They're always a bit of a tough opposition, whether in form or not. And yeah, and away. I think it's away from home as well, so that's even worse. But you know, bounce backs have got to start somewhere, and hopefully, we've learned from the America game, and we can then, play some of these kids in these games because I think that's where we need to go. But let me know what you think about what's wrong with Chivas right now. Let me know what you think the solution is. Players that I haven't mentioned that you think aren't good enough. But I know some people are going to say Pocho. Pocho's good enough to be playing for Chivas right now. Gago just never got the best out of him. You can argue that Pocho did his best under Paunovic. Towards the end, it kind of got a little bit fuzzy. I think there was discipline thing. There was that massive weird rumor about Pocho punching Paunovic or whatever. So there was off the field stuff, but on the field, Pocho was at his best at Chivas under Paunovic. So Gago just never got his best out of him. So hopefully, Ortega can get some goodness out of Pocho. And play him in the position that suited him. For me, it's number 10. But some other people saying it's another position, whatever. Yeah, but are there any other players I haven't mentioned that are not good enough? Let me know, and I'll tell you if I agree or disagree with that. And if there's any other players in Tapatio or U23s that I haven't mentioned that you think deserve a chance in the first team, let me know. I'm always up to be schooled in that department. So, yeah, thanks for listening. Sorry, it's a bit of a rant video this time, but it is what it is. I need to get all this out. So yeah, thanks for listening, guys. I appreciate you guys. Like and subscribe if you haven't already. I really do appreciate it. Don't forget to leave the comments down below. And yeah, anyway, guys, have a good rest of your week. And I'll see you guys after the Pachuca game. So yeah, take it easy, guys. Adios.